Randy, go ahead and put up the next slide. That one right there. This is Toddlers.org. And these are the resources that Dr. Barbara Price has coming up. She doesn't have a title like Palma Smiley Early Childhood or See and Know. It's just at Toddlers.org. But it's this creation, and it's got that pattern for I Looked and Looked for Susie. It's got the patterns for all these things that are on the presser, the craft sticks. It's got these patterns in there for that. She has God Made My World coming, Baby Jesus coming, the vegetable one she does. You'll notice down here with the flannel graph, this is from these are from the Fruits of the Spirit flannel graph packet. But hey, grapes are grapes. That's right. And bananas are bananas. So she actually does that one with, she said she's also done it with a little bit older kids. And she always checks with the parents first, but then she actually gives them taste of bananas or gives them taste of things. So her God's, can you back up one for the God's Garden? Her God's Garden, she loves to do, she said, with the kids that are old enough to have actual vegetables and fruit and stuff. So I think she's got that one coming pretty soon too. But these are all the curriculums that she's got the covers for. She's just waiting on the person doing her art to get stuff out, but she said they'll all be the same format as this creation one. So one of the things I told you I love about her is that she gave you the actual cards you can just print out and print them on hard enough stock or print them on those cards that we've got for you over there, and put them on there and laminate them. Notice that everything I have is bound at the bottom, not the top. That's super important. Bind it at the bottom, not the top. I think most of you are the pros that I'm talking to, but if there's somebody online that needs to know, if you bind them at the top, every time you go to turn it, you're doing this, and that's a huge distraction. But if you bind it at the bottom, it's just falling down. Plus, the words for that page should not be on the page that you're showing. The words for this page are on the back of this page. So if you've not made flip charts before, that's really important. I've gone into classes and had people that made flip charts and they didn't know. And so the words were all on wrong. So if you make a cover, that's why this and here's a good example of one gone bad. So my paper was it was cardstock, but it wasn't heavy enough. And so when I laminated it, pulled through. This is not part of her graphic. I went online and found this graphic and then cut it out in the shape of a heart off of a free, some of those sites that I gave you they have a ton of free patterns and songs and lessons and handouts and all kinds of stuff. They're missions. They're designed for missions. You're a mission. Use their free stuff. So I went and found me one of these. So I had a cover to put my words on for this page. So there you go. That's how I did it. The other thing I would recommend on the back or on the front cover somewhere, put where you got it from. Okay, because if something happens to this or you're not the person there, or even if you are, if you're like me, I'm going to forget and I need to make another one, or I have, we've grown so much we need another class, and then what do I do? Because I don't remember where I got it from. So put somewhere on it where you got it from, please. Words from experience. Okay, you keep looking, you don't have to stop. Another resource I have that if you come across it at one of these churches, so if you see stuff you need. This is Jane Buntley from Duncan, Oklahoma. Jane I haven't been to a workshop of hers in a long time. I know she's still around. I tried to find out. I have a friend here who knows her, but I do not know exactly. She has wonderful patterns, and if over here on the end, those are all my pattern books. Patterns for puppets, patterns for farm animals, patterns for class manipulatives. But she has a whole packet here. These are songs like we've been talking about, but it's the songs and the procedures and stuff. So if you ever see anything by Jane Bentley, Heaven Sent Publications, anywhere, I would grab it. It's good to have. She has great stuff. So you can't order it that I can find anymore. And it's the same kind of thing we're talking about, but it's Heaven Sent Publications, Jane Bentley. Susie Martin, I think, was the other person that did workshops with her. And then she also did a whole preschool song box of all kinds of songs here too. So there are, Randy, would you grab for me? I think that's all we got, right?
You got these.
Oh, this. Okay. You have a resource called Teach One, Reach One in your resources. That is another website that it's Teresa Winnett, I believe is her last name, and I think she's in Alabama or somewhere in the southeast, but she comes up to ACU and does workshops with Dr. Raines from here from LCU and stuff like that. Stacy from Preston Road in Dallas. Anyway, she had this, and we did this last Christmas for all of our Cradle Roll toddler classes. And so you get those little tiny bags, or just the big enough bags that the canvas bags that work at Hobby Lobby, and you put the day of the week on them. And somewhere in here, which I will find in a minute, there's a little ringed packet of songs that goes with it, and then we sang and recorded just on my phone the songs that go with it. And I personally we delivered those to their houses. I didn't personally, my helper, my Cradle Roll person did, but she gathered up all the material, made everything. I think there's another, is there another page of them? Mm-hmm. No, it's just that one. Okay, so anyway, it's the days of creation. And it was great. And then we put them all into one little bag and put their name on it. And a couple of them even brought them to church, and that was their quiet bag at church for the toddlers. So, but we did it for all our newborns and toddlers, and that was their Merry Christmas from our department. So, and that is on her Teach One, Reach One website free. So you can download that whole thing there if you want. But there's a lot of stuff. It takes time. When you're ready to do it, sit down and devote about, if you can, 30 minutes decide on these days, I'm going to spend 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is looking online, and you'll be surprised at what's there for free, especially if you just start going through some of these resources I've given you. There is just more than you could ever CTAIN, C-T-A-I-N-C. I think I gave you that one also. They're great for things to give for gifts. They also, when you click on one of their like Christmas programs or whatever, which are really cheap, there's a place that says resources or free downloads or resource downloads. Can't remember exactly at this point in the day what it says, but there's a place there where you can click on that, and there's it's like the posters to put up in your doors, and where you can put the date and time on it. It's just all kinds of stuff that you can use to promote your event. So those are just, hopefully I've given you some resources that are helpful for you going forward. Okay, anything else? We've got, as soon as I give her a Sharpie, she's going to cut out leaves. I have just the pattern over here. If anybody wants leaf patterns, there's 3 different sizes. Like I said, I've got yarn. Always have one of these if you're coloring. What else do I have? I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Here's the booklet that we sent out with that if you want to look at, anybody wants to look at these. So we sent it out. So on the front was the picture. Sorry, I'm giving her fifth. On the front was the picture of the bag and what was in the bag. On the back, it said, like, day 1 was a bag with a handkerchief and a flashlight. My Bible tells me on the first day, God made light in the darkness. Say, it is light, it is dark, it is light, it is dark, and repeat and turn the flashlight on and off. So don't you do that in class, kind of. It's basically a little mini class for them to do. And that's talking about getting that spirituality and the Devo and things like that at home, this tells them exactly what to do. Wheels on the Bus, your favorite song. Oh, God made light on day number one, day number one. It's something a little different than we did in class, but it's, you know, the same idea. And then you say again, God made the light and God made the dark. And then you play peekaboo with a handkerchief that we put in there. So it's stuff like that. So that's up here. This is my package for Boy Jesus. There is kitchen stuff so he can help his mom. And there is a little, and this is my tube, you know, toddler tubes. And there is a little toolkit that, you know, who, I don't know where, dollar store somewhere. It's a little toolkit in there so he can help his dad. He was a carpenter. So, I mean, you know, just, I mean, these literally came out of my kitchen. So, but I figured they can't hurt themselves unless they hit another kid over the head with them, and then I got to take them away, but you know. So just be creative. Find what you can find. You'll be shocked what you can do. Okay, now you're wondering what this big thing is on the floor for. So I had frogs that I was looking for, but I hadn't found them yet. So, oh, here they are. So if I'm talking about water or the ocean or whatever, I have a bunch of these frogs, and I do a couple different things. One, we would talk about all the animals I see, and you know what that is. That's a party tablecloth, dollar party tablecloth. Sometimes I do solid blue ones and just the really, you know, and I'll tape these on there. And then we play a game of hopping like a frog to the next frog. So you're working on motor skills, and we're talking about frogs, and we're singing songs about frogs, and that all fits in, you know, your God made. And those little ones, like hers is one. When they're little like that, you know, to watch them try to jump or hop, you know, it's just hilarious because they can't. They don't have that physical ability yet, but you're helping them create it. So, so start getting, you know, we've done everything in the seat. And if you're working with the littles, you have to do everything in the seat. You don't have a choice. But if you're starting to work with kids, or you have the age that's combined, those littles in the seats that can't get up yet can watch. They love watching those little bit older kids do this kind of stuff, you know, and you're still singing the songs, and you're still getting that inbred in them, because you're still doing all those things, and they're seeing it. And you can have somebody over there, you know, waving while you're working with the older kids. So these were a few ideas I had for ways to incorporate when now, after COVID, we no longer have all these separate age groups. I never had those separate age groups. Mine were birth to 2, actually birth to 2.5-ish, which is tough. You know, that's tough, but you can do it. The more you sing, the easier it is. So for sure. Okay. What else? Oh, I wanted to find this to show you. This is little Mr. Robin. He's a Thai Robin. I'm not taking this off because you know he might be worth some money. I have boxes of these things. I'm figuring he's got to be worth something. And you know, again, when I'm talking about birds, little Mr. Robin hopped up on my windowsill. Little Mr. Robin cocked his head to say, hello, hello, good day, hello, hello. And then he flew away. You know, and so I've got them echoing me. Pretty soon they're echoing me. And that is one time where I'll have the teachers just softly sing the echo. So I'll go, hello, and they'll softly sing in their ear, hello. And then pretty soon they're singing it as soon as they can do that. Or if they're not of the age to sing, that ba-ba, ba-ba, I would do that instead of hello. Ba-ba. By the way, that's the international pitch. There's da 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 da. That's the internet, that kids everywhere. That is the common song, tune, whatever those intervals. Da 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 da. That's the intervals that they first pick up on. So you're reinforcing that. Da 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 da. So okay, all right. Like like I said, get up, look around, dig through my boxes, see if there's anything you want. I'm gonna give you some Sharpies, ask questions. Here's another one of my tablecloths that I use. It looks like a tree. You can do all kinds of animals and stuff on this. If you're doing snacks, you know, snacks. No, snacks, which I'm not a huge snack fan just because we have so many food allergies and everything else now. And even when I was teaching toddlers a whole lot, we never did snacks and made it just fine without snacks. And when COVID and all that happened, I just told all my teachers, no snacks, we don't need them. We have enough to keep them busy. So, I know where it is. Okay.
I have this kind of an emergency thing, you know? If you get
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
if
end,
you get just to the, yeah, yeah.
I'll get it on in.
We don't give it to Melissa.
We have the.
We just gotta find what it is.
Blue, hardly those.
No, she is.
These are the.
There is a block. It's a puzzle and they're nesting. And that was another one of the lawn skills.
Oh, yeah. Or would you feed them this cereal? I had one bring me a bottle of cooked cereal. What we feed it before we moved out to Woodland, since I worked for a church. Well, we didn't.
I hear your question about food, about what you're talking about. Our church served donuts and stuff before they came to class. And I said, we don't take any children in class with food. You need to feed them and take care of that before you bring them to us and clean them up.
Well, Mom
Because we
brought
can't feed them all.
a bowl of cooked cereal and wanted us to spoon feed.
Yeah,
We didn't have time.
yeah, you
So
can't.
afterwards, the ones that relieved us that
Is
are
that gonna
paid,
show up?
we
I'm not
went
black
to
when it's
bed.
disappeared.
I took care of it for the next week. I talked to the girl who brought, I talked to Supervisor, and I talked to the girl who brought them, she said, just tell them, just don't have staff.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
And they choke.
Yeah.
And then it's all over you and
Okay.
everywhere else.
Here are the ideas for those little wood pieces I have. I have a whole bunch once I dig them out. But here is, this one is the box where they put them from string and they made little slips so you could move them around. And then this one, they made a little shelf and they used it as the backdrop, which you wouldn't have to be a shelf, but they used it, some of that as the backdrop. And then they could drive their car to church or whatever, you know, you could make it look like a little road in front of it when you're doing those How I Came to Church songs and yeah, for toddlers. There are also a couple of, if you're interested, I couldn't make you copies of these, but it's talking about music and literacy. If you want to snap a picture or something, the website is listed. You can go to the Nancy, it's the Nancy at Nancy Music or yeah, nancymusic.com on your stuff. It's there. So something else. A lot of good information from Nancy Music. You have a sheet in your resources about how to sing with toddlers and babies in the face, you know, all the stuff you do with them. So
One year, one of the grocery stores gave us big handout, well, not handouts. They were like the grapes when you showed it.
yeah,
That they had taken down from their produce department, and we're gonna try.
yeah,
So we have all of the, and we hung them in the ceiling.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. The more stuff like that you can get, the better. Like I said, I have, go ahead, look at it all. I have pattern books over here. If you need ideas, I've got everything you can imagine. The flannel graph, you notice these were flannel graph that I've mounted to laminated quarter pieces of cardboard. And then, yeah, I know. And then I can give them, especially toddlers now, we're talking, you know, more. I lay them in front, like as a pre-class or end of class, and we're singing about God made our families. There's one here that it was like a book because it was my son's, but this one has peekaboo little spaces on it. And then in the back is the pocket with the stuff. But then you can lay it in front of them, and it's all different habitats. There's like a tree, and there's groundhog, and there's water, and all the appropriate. So you could even do a class thing, a little game with them, and give them 2 animals or 3, and say, does it go here? Does it go, does it go in the tree or in the water? That kind of stuff too. There's one here for farm. When you do farm animals, there's a whole flannel graph. These are Betty Lukens. Most of these are Betty Lukens flannel graph stuff. But they love that too, because again, that's kind of old school stuff, but it looks good, and they've not ever seen it, and their parents most likely haven't either. So as long as it doesn't look super, super old. She also has a lot of backgrounds, and I even have a flannel board in my toddler 2's room where I can put them in a circle on little carpets on the floor, and they sit there on the floor, and I sit at the teacher, which now is a chair and not on the floor. But I give them each one something to hold, and they have to wait their turn, which teaches them to sit and listen and wait their turn. That's a skill. Why not? The more things I can figure out to teach them like that, the more I teach. So I have purpose for everything. And I tell my people, sometimes it looks like we're playing, but I guarantee you if we're doing it, there's a reason for it. So I use every minute you give me. Don't teach for 15 minutes and then go play. Now I understand, like we were talking about a while ago, it's 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night and it's their bedtime. Most of these kids now go to bed at 6:30 or 7. That's tough. 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning is probably nap time.
Yeah.
That's tough. So you got some hurdles to work around there. But, as much as possible, use every minute they give you, because you don't have that many minutes when you put them all together. So these are my pattern books. Again, one of these is from Heaven Sent Publications. But if you want to look through these, get some ideas or snap a picture of anything you see in here. This one's literally alphabet, paper sack, but there's like a kangaroo puppet and, there's different animals and things in here. And so again, with those toddlers and 2s, oh my gosh, they love you. Give them a pig. I print that out on pink paper, and we stick them to the sack, and then we sing our pig songs, and they have a paper sack pig to take home with a song put on the back of it. Heaven, you would think you gave them $1 million. It's like a cardboard box, So keep your shapes simple for your patterns. Don't get overcomplicated looking stuff. This is old Mother Hubbard, but who would know that? If I cut that out of the dog for some story I'm doing, nobody would know that's old Mother Hubbard. This is a super, if I look, it's probably from the 80s. So again, that's where if you're trying to start out or do something different or new, go to those Goodwill and go to those places like that. Because there's all kinds of teacher resource places that this stuff works. Just because it doesn't say Bible on it doesn't mean you can't get good patterns out of it. So anyway, or download. Here's another farm animals. This one's all just farm animals. So, okay. I've taken every minute that you've given me, and I appreciate your time so much. I hope that you found something today to help you and let you take home at least some new ideas or a new way of thinking or something to think about. And I do really appreciate your time. And I would like to close this with a prayer if you don't mind. And then if you want to hang around and get whatever talk, we'll do it. All right, you ready? Lord, we thank you so much for this day we had together. We know that it was a lot of information, and we just pray that you plant in each of these ladies the thing that they need to walk away here from. We pray that we take these things and that we use them for your glory and to spread your kingdom and to bring more people into the fold. We just ask for safety as we travel. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you recommend for a handle for the trees instead of a tongue depressor? Because they're run it down their throat and choke themselves. And we're
You know, I've not had that problem with tongue depressors, but, we've done, here's another thing we did for trees, and that's literally poster board and
Yeah.
laminated, but it's wider. You see, it's a little bit flippy, but floppy, but this is my son's again from 30 plus years ago. So some of these we took and put the tongue depressor in the middle of it, but it's wide enough they can't get it in their mouth.
Okay, that's an idea.
So-
Our trees are getting very floppy.
Yeah, yeah. And then if you do the soft ones, this is, so, you
That's
know,
not a tongue depressor anyway, that's.
yeah, this is not a tongue depressor. This one is an actual craft stick that's bigger. And they make super wide ones also, but that's a little dependent on how small their hands are, a little harder. But these again have the tongue depressor in the middle of them. You can use those vinyl tablecloths. You can use, this is like that vinyl you get for redoing your boat seats or, you know, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Where's the garbage?
Yeah. Joanne,
Remnant.
yeah,
And
You
you
get-
cut
you
it
get- yeah, yeah. This, like, any Wichita Falls is hurting for upholstery stores, and I also went in Fayetteville. And then we were at my daughter's for a few weeks in California, and there's literally a 2-story Joann's with escalator, like 4 blocks from her house.
Oh.
And they had a whole section of this kind of stuff. So, yeah,
The Joanne's here is pretty
yeah,
plentiful. Mhm.
yeah.
That's an idea.
But this is just vinyl, or those vinyl tablecloths too, will work. This is the best.
We just got to the point we can hardly use ours
Yeah,
because it's so floppy and I take it down there.
so you can feel it. That's a kind of pressure inside.
Okay.
And then I wrapped some cotton, you know, stuffing stuff around it up here.
Yeah.
You can fill this with it. I just didn't have enough.
Okay.
So it's
I'm
one
watching
here.
that. My director.
Yeah.
Here.
And, yeah, you just, the pattern for this is on your upload on your handout. The pattern for this, and we also did sunshines this way.
Oh, yeah.
And they love those, and I still have my son's sunshine that we made out of this.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, we're not done. No, I'm kidding. No, y'all really seriously, if you know somewhere that can put this material over here to good use, please help it